Iran's supreme leader delivered an urgent televised address this morning in response to widespread protests that continue across the country and overnight. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei today accused demonstrators of damaging public property to please the U.S. president. His speech comes as Iranian authorities impose an internet and phone blackout in an effort to suppress the ability of protesters to organize. The anti-government protests you're seeing there have been driven mainly by economic hardship, especially high inflation, the collapsing currency, and now soaring food prices. The unrest has been growing, and it's increased pressure on the ruling regime, presenting one of the most serious threats to the clerical establishment in recent memory. For more on this, let's bring in Crystal Gamansingh. She joins us this morning live from London. Pretty dramatic scenes in the streets of Tehran overnight. Get us up to speed. What's happening today?
Well, absolutely, Susan. They are incredibly dramatic scenes, and the fact that we are seeing them is something that we should talk about as well, because the internet has been slowed, virtually shut down. Those images were able to get out, but again, today we're seeing internet challenges, internet being shut down, so that we aren't completely sure what is going on right now following those very strong comments from the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, warning people in Iran not to take to the streets, saying that the Iranian Republic would not tolerate mercenaries for foreigners, very much calling those on the streets, not only in the capital of Tehran, but all across the country, saying that they are terrorists and terrorist actions, and that they are doing so trying to get the attention and approval of U.S. President Donald Trump. Now, these major demonstrations, we saw buildings being lit on fire, cars being lit on fire, but more importantly, very vocal anti-regime chants. Now, these demonstrations originally go back to late December. People are very unhappy, frustrated with the economy. The economy strongly linked to sanctions on Iran by the United States. So that ties in the American involvement. Potentially, we could again tonight see more of these large demonstrations. Images might take a while to get out, but we do know that Reza Pahlavi, the son of the late Shah, is encouraging people, posting on social media, telling them to go back out on the streets. He did last night, potentially will again today, saying the eyes of the world are upon you, take to the streets. At the same time, we do know that there's great concerns given the words of the Supreme Leader and those threats. We have the flights from Turkey to Iranian locations canceled, flights out of Dubai canceled. So there is a lot of worry about exactly what is going to happen tonight and in the coming days, Susan.
We also know the world has been watching, of course, very closely these 2 weeks of demonstrations. What are we hearing internationally about the growing pressure on the regime in Iran?
Well, the most obvious one, the one we should start with, is the United States. Of course, just a couple of days ago, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to take military action against Iran if demonstrators were killed. He said that there would be very strong action if there were demonstrators killed. Like we have seen in the past, there are a lot of violence against them, trying to suppress these sort of demonstrations. And we saw that in some of the other ones. Let's hear from J.D. Vance, who talked about what America could do and their support of these demonstrations.
We certainly stand by anybody who's engaged in peaceful protest, anybody who's trying to exert their rights for free association and to have their voices heard. Obviously, the Iranian regime has a lot of problems. And as the President of the United States has said, the smartest thing for them to have done, it was true 2 months ago, it's true today, is for them to actually have a real negotiation with the United States about what we need to see when it comes to their nuclear program. I'll let the President speak to what we're going to do in the future, but we certainly stand with anybody across the world, including the Iranian people, who are advocating for their rights.
So there, the U.S. Vice President talking about supporting individuals for their right to express themselves. We have heard from French officials as well. They are encouraging Iranian officials to act with restraint when it comes to these protests. Susan?
We'll be watching that again today as night comes in Iran. Thank you, Crystal.